Jacob Burton here from StellaCulinary.com, and in this video, I'm going to go over how to pan roast a fillet of salmon, which will yield a beautiful, even brown crust every single time. Now here I have a 7 to 8 ounce piece of salmon. You can see it's cut to an even thickness, seasoned with salt sprinkling from above, and this is going to allow the salt to cascade evenly, which will evenly season the salmon. I'm going to heat a heavy bottom saute pan over high flame and allow it to charge with heat before I add my cooking oil. Here I'm using a 50-50 mix of clarified and canola. You can use your favorite cooking oil. I'm going to lay the salmon down away from me. That way the oil won't splash up onto my hand. Now see how it flamed up there? That's not ideal. You don't want to have flames in your pan. So if this happens, just simply remove the pan from the heat until the flames subside. And also if it continues to flame, you can always cover it with a pan or another lid just to kind of put out that flame. Now, it's important to use the appropriate size pan for what you're cooking. So say I use this larger pan here and I lay that cold piece of salmon in the middle of my hot pan. What's going to happen is that middle section of the pan is going to get the heat zapped out of it, while the edges of the pan continue to charge with heat, giving me two different temperature zones, which lead to uneven cooking. So it's important to make sure that you use a pan that's just big enough to fit the amount of salmon that you're cooking. Now, once you have this little line of golden brown color on both sides of the fillet, you want to never peek. You want to keep that hard sear going, so don't peek at your salmon, but that brown line is basically your timer telling you, hey, it's time to put it into an oven. So we're putting it into a 450 degree to 500 degree oven for about 5 minutes, and what you're looking for here is when you touch it, you want it to be responsive. So right here, it's still a little undercooked. And when I press my finger gently into it, it just seems kind of flabby. Now we're going to give it a couple more minutes. So you're talking about maybe like a 5 to 7 minute cook time in general. Now see here where I'm kind of very gently squeezing it. It's being responsive to me and it's kind of springing back. And that's showing me that the proteins have cooked to the proper degree. Now if it didn't spring back at all, if it was very, very solid, then I would know that I actually cooked it too long and it was overcooked. Now you want to very gently take a spatula and remove it from the pan. See how nice and golden brown that color is? Now if for whatever reason it doesn't release from the pan right away, just kind of leave it in the pan and it'll relax and it'll release from the pan in about 5 to 10 minutes. And as you can see here, we have from edge to edge a nice golden brown color, and that comes from using the appropriate size pan and making sure that it's charged with heat, and then never peeking during the cooking process. Now, I like to serve my salmon with a little bit of an Asian twist. I'm just kind of using a citrus teriyaki glaze. I'll link to this in the show notes. I have a recipe for it. A little bit of sesame seeds, a little bit of togarashi, and some chopped green onions. This is just one of many ways that you can serve a pan-roasted piece of salmon, but really it's all about the pan roasting technique as shown here. So for more information, you can check out this episode's show notes at stellaculinary.com/CT11.